Hello, football fans. Can you believe it? Week 4 has come and gone. 4 weeks into this season. It's crazy. And there were a lot of amazing stories come from week 4, but let's talk about the obvious one. Brady returns home. That was a story for a whole week. Right after week 3, Brady's return to Foxborough. The return they called it. And it's an amazing it was an amazing narrative entering this week because of how this unfolded, mainly because how Brady ended up out of Foxborough in the first place. I still can't believe it. It's been a year, and I still can't believe he's not in the Patriots uniform anymore. But we know the story. The most told story is, well, we know this. Brady kept taking less and less money. Kept taking pay cuts like the last about 3-4 years, I believe. He kept taking pay cuts to build that team, and it didn't seem to go appreciated, especially by Belichick. Yeah, Belichick's been the guy with the black hat through this whole thing. He's been the bad guy. I've heard a lot of recent stories painting him very negatively. Um, and yeah, including one part where I think Brady was when Brady was time was up in New England. I think Robert Kraft, the owner, kind of talked to him, but when Brady tried to call Belichick, he couldn't pick up the phone. Very, because Belichick's always been weird. The good coaches usually, the good coaches slash managers in baseball usually are, but yeah, you got to have more human kindness than that. That's all I got to say. But yeah, so yeah, it was a great story. Brady returning home to Foxborough. That unfortunately is where the positives ended. The game in itself wasn't that good. It was back and forth, but it was also ugly. And I think Gronk being out kind of made it ugly because if Gronk was in, it would have been much more entertaining because that's another return, Rob Gronkowski. You know, those two together kind of mess with New England. That would be something else. But no, but yeah, the game was ugly. Bray didn't have a good performance. My fantasy numbers showed that 11.02 points. That's not good. There were receivers that had more than that. That's not a good thing. Quarterbacks. Because quarterbacks are supposed to be the highest scored, your highest scores on your team. But yeah, he only threw for about over 200 yards, but no touchdowns. Had a few rushing yards. They had like one of his longest runs of a career because Bray doesn't run the ball. Um, I did like that expression when he ran it, like, "Wow, I ran that." But yeah. So Tampa Bay won, which is no surprise. We kind of all expected them to beat New England. 19-17 was the score. Again, pretty ugly game. But let's get on to some very uplifting stories. The Jets and the Giants both won in OT. Can you believe that? I mean, it sounds like something from a script, like 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 something Vince McMahon would have cooked up for a story. All right, let's see here. Oh, the Jets are Giants. They're winless. What is this? All right, here's what's gonna happen. Both of you are gonna go to overtime, and you're gonna win in dramatic fashion. And we were gonna have that kicker for the Titans, that fat guy, whatever his name is. The hell with him. He's gonna miss the field goal. He's gonna hook it left, and the Jets are gonna win. It's gonna be fantastic. But but yeah. So that is how the Jets won. They went to overtime. Jets got a chip shot field goal, of course, on their first possession. Of course, it doesn't end there. That's the rule. And the Titans went all the way to field goal range. By that time, it was crazy because it was like under 20 seconds left, and it was 4th and 10. And head coach Mike Vrabel decides to kick the field goal, which I kind of find baffling because I know it's 4th and 10, but I would think you would go for it to try to go for a win here. But because had that kick been made, 10 seconds would have been left, and those ticks would have went out like that, unless some dumb defensive penalty happened. But it would have ended 27-27. But instead, it ends with Tennessee losing to the Jets, who hadn't had a lead entering that week, let alone a victory. Isn't that something? And the Giants really worked their asses off in the Superdome. First off, I just want to say I'm happy that the Saints are back in their home stadium after the fallout from Hurricane Ida. I mean, it's terrible. It is terrible to see New Orleans go through another devastating hurricane. Because I still remember the news coverage about Katrina. It was just awful seeing what happened in that city around the summer of '05. So for the Saints to be back in the Superdome that quickly after Ida It's good. It's good for them. Very good for them. But yeah. So the Giants took care of it. They went to overtime. There was only one possession, and it lasted over 5 minutes, and ended with Saquon Barkley getting in the end zone. So the Giants won 27-21. Good news in New York, along with the Yankees winning that game to make the postseason. Uh, yeah. So what else? Oh yeah. Um, the Packers. The main reason why I look forward to Week 4 was Packers and Steelers, and it was mainly because it was you have Rodgers and you have Big Ben, and of course I'm a big Packers fan, and I'm a big fan of the guy who's worn this jersey for us for start in a starting position since 2008, drafted in 2005, but he's been wearing this as a starting quarterback for this is 14 seasons. I'm a big fan of this guy, but as big of a fan I am of Rodgers, I'm also a big fan of Ben Roethlisberger too. I have a very soft spot for the Steelers. I've had that for a long time. Steelers are, well, Pittsburgh teams as a whole are fun to watch. Even the Pirates are. They've had their problems. Pirates, Penguins, and Steelers. Those are fun teams to watch. They really are. And gotta say this without getting emotional. But yeah, I've watched Big Ben since day one. I remember his Super Bowl wins. He won Super Bowl 40, and that was quick. That was in his second season starting, and then 3 years later he wins Super Bowl 43. That's the one I love the most because that was number 6 for Pittsburgh, and I didn't think anybody else would get to 5, let alone get to 6, because San Francisco and Dallas have been stuck at 5 for eons, and Pittsburgh had been at 4 for a long time. But they got number 5, and 3 years later they got number 6. They were the first to 6, and that really kind of raised my fanaticism of Ben because he got him to 6, got him to history, and how he did it. That pass to Santonio Holmes. But anyway, of course, he makes it again 2 years later. He faces off against these guys, and that was a great Super Bowl. And I still remember the countdown to it. I was very surprised, and I still am to this day. I was very surprised that the Packers were favored because you had Rodgers and you had Ben. Ben was already established. He had won 2 rings. This was his 3rd Super Bowl. Rodgers, for all intents and purposes, compared to Ben, he was an unknown. Nobody really knew about him in the NFL. He was in his third year starting. He was in his 3rd year as a starting quarterback. He only had 1 playoff game under his belt, and that was a defeat, but he showed out. And the Packers won that Super Bowl. It was a great Super Bowl. And in the years that passed for the Steelers, Ben couldn't seem to get there. Neither could Rodgers either. But it was always something with the Steelers, whether it was on and off the field drama, or in the case of Ben, injuries. Ben had been ravaged with injuries for the last like 3 years. And as he's gotten older, he's 39 now. He's not the same quarterback he used to be. But yeah. So. And of course, him and Rodgers, those are always my 2 longtime faves. Those 2. And come on, don't get emotional here. That's the main reason why I look forward to Week 4, to see those 2 possibly for the last time on the same field, because they're at the late stage of their careers, so they're still doing it. And interconference teams play each other every 4 years, so the chances are this will be the last time. And I drank that in. And of course, the Packers won 27-17, a great win for us. We took care of it. Both quarterbacks showed out. Ben got his milestone 400th career touchdown pass. And Rodgers ran one, and I love seeing him run. He ran one in to start scoring for the Packers. And when I saw those 2 hugging each other, I nearly broke down then, because I knew this would be the last time. This is probably gonna be the last time, most likely, we see them in the same field. Both of them are going to the Hall of Fame. We know this. And to me, I saw this as like to me, Rodgers and Ben, that's a football equivalent of John Cena versus Undertaker. I thought about this recently. Big Ben is football's equivalent of the Undertaker. He's old, reliable. Been in Pittsburgh since '04. He gets it done. He's a big, towering presence. Even through injuries, he still shows out and delivers, just like Taker did. So yeah, he's basically the Undertaker of the NFL. And when that man hangs up, when both of them hang it up, that's going to be an emotional day for a lot of fans, myself included. So yeah, there's my soapbox moment for this video. In other week 4 action, Patrick Mahomes showed out 5 touchdowns against the Eagles. That was, or as I call it, the homecoming nobody talked about, because that was Andy Reid going back to Philly. Week 4 started with a better than advertised Bengals Jaguars game. Bengals beat the Jags and improved to 3-1, and for the Jaguars, that's 19 straight losses in a row. And for what I've seen, they got more problems other than that. Urban Meyer, what the hell are you thinking? Doing that with a young woman like that? Are you nuts? But what else? Oh yeah, 2 games at Sophie Stadium this week, in different days. Obviously, the Rams suffered their first loss of the season. The Cardinals mollywopped them. And Monday Night Football, we had the Patriots, not the Patriots, the Chargers. The Chargers defeated the Raiders almost soundly. It was 28-14. It was going to be more sound than that, but the Chargers did it. So I don't know why I said Patriots, but so yeah, after all that, Arizona is the last undefeated team standing. So they're on 72 Dolphins watch. Of course, you all know. Every historian knows that the 1972 Dolphins. Fitting. This is the 50th anniversary of that season. The Dolphins in 1972, the only perfect team in history. They ran the table before this guy used it as a catchphrase in 2016. It was a 14-game regular season back then. They won all 14, and they won the 3 playoff games, 17-0, perfect. Nobody else has done it since. Only the 2007 Patriots came this close. But yeah, so they're on the watch now. And as for the winless franchises, it's just Jacksonville and Detroit, because Indianapolis got their first win of the season against the Dolphins. So it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. It was a great week 4, a lot of good stories, a bit of emotional, at least from this fan anyway. But it's on to week 5. And what's in store for us football fans in week 5? Week 5 kicks off with what will be a thrilling NFC West matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks. That's in Seattle. The Jets and Falcons face each other in England. England always gets the dregs of the NFL. It's been like that. Packers are in Cincy. Battle of 3-1 teams. Ooh, yeah, much better. Steelers try to get back on track at home against the Broncos. 4 of the next 5 games are at home, so they should take care of it. Browns face the Chargers. Raiders are at home against the Bears, so they'll blow out the Bears. The Cardinals try to prove to 5-0 against the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo got injured a bit in that game. We don't know if he'll start. Cowboys and Giants, that's going to be another intriguing game. They'll face off. Sunday night game is Chiefs hosting the Bills. A battle between two teams, about a rematch of the AFC Championship last year. And how about the Bills? They've won 3 in a row by a score. 3 in a row by a combined 97 points. Yeesh. And Colts Ravens Monday night. So that's what's in store for us in week 5. I'll be back tomorrow to recap the wild card games. I'll recap week 5 next week. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you want more. My story on Vocal about week 4 will be in the description below. So, as usual, stay tuned.